To come on the show in a bit, I'm going to be speaking to a very inspirational woman from Birmingham who's built her own platform on Facebook to really connect with women who've been impacted by domestic violence and domestic abuse. She is campaigning to create her own app where women can come together and feel safe enough to talk freely about the things that they've been going through. She's someone that we definitely want to highlight, keep it going throughout the month, not just for the 1 week, you know, when everyone was doing the most you can say for it all. We want to keep that going throughout the entire month on the show. And today we're speaking to Sara, and Sara has decided to fundraise for a new app which is going to help support women who've been impacted by domestic abuse. She's doing so after building up a community of women on Facebook. Sara, thank you for joining me on the show.
Thank you for having me.
My first question's got to be, why did you do this in the beginning? Why set up a Facebook group entirely focused to support women who have been suffering from domestic abuse?
Well, to be honest, when the group itself wasn't initially set up just to help women that have been through DV, it was just a private space for women to be able to speak freely without fear of judgment, because it was back in 2016, and for a few years myself, I'd been going through a lot of personal stuff, and I felt like I didn't have a safe place to vent. And if I did ever speak about how I felt on my social media or to certain family or friends, you'd get the usual, you just got to think positive, or people would make assumptions about what you wrote on your social media and judge what they thought was happening in your life. And in all honesty, they didn't really have a clue. So for me, I felt like there's got to be more women than me that feel this way. So I started a group on Facebook called Love Ladies, which is listen, uplift, vent, but the short term for it is love. So Love Ladies, and it is a group, sorry, I'm so nervous, for women to basically be able to speak freely, so we can vent in that group. They uplift each other, and it's a safe place for people just to listen to your problems and not have anybody say anything that comes across in any kind of judgmental way. So since 2016 to this day now, we have built a community of over 300 women.
Why do you think it's important for these things to exist? Is there no other spaces where women can feel safe enough to vent about these things? Why do you think it needs to be made?
I felt like I needed to create a space because I personally had been going through stuff for years, and I didn't feel that I had a space that I could do that. And since creating the group over the years, the way that the group has been utilised has also proven that the group is most definitely needed. And I've been, the women have messaged me to say how much the group has helped them in times. And when you do see the women post and you see all the other women come in and just uplift that lady, it's just a beautiful thing, and it's nice. And it can just change someone's mindset in how they feel about themselves and their situation.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because I do want to ask, how do, the women that have come through onto this Facebook group together, how have they been able to have any sort of help? How have they been able to, benefit from this?
Well, from the group, I've been registered Listen Uplift CIC. So I now run a community interest organisation. And within that organisation, we run programmes for women within the community. So at the moment, we're currently running a 4-week Love Yourself programme, which basically is deals with your self-love and mindset, week 1. Week 2 is healing and inner child. Week 3 is fitness and mindset, and week 4 is healthy eating and mindset. So we have women that are in the group that want to take what they need further, and they are able to come onto those programs for free because we get funding from different funders.
What do you think the impact would be without spaces like this for women who have been impacted by, domestic violence?
The thing is, I think the reason why we want to create the app, and with regards to your question, is the impact. Even though the group's there still are many women that will either message me privately or have said to me that they're just scared to vent because their name is still attached to it, because with Facebook, it's your personal page, even though you add yourself to groups.
Right.
So some will inbox me and ask me to post anonymously, but a lot are still just scared to post, where if we had an app which is not attached to your name, and you can create whatever username you want, then I believe a lot of women would feel more open to speaking how they feel. Because one of the women in particular on the last program that we just finished running a couple of weeks ago, she didn't realise that there were so many other women that were going through things that were so similar to her. And it took for her to join our program and to realise I'm not alone, and to build relationships with the other women and realise that there's a community here and we can all support each other.
Now, we're going to get to the app very soon, because I know that you are fundraising, to continue these efforts away from Facebook and to create your own app so other women can connect and do so. But I want to go back to you yourself doing this. How have you personally been impacted by doing this? You've said you've been going through your own things, but here you are then, watching other women, express their trauma and in situations and find relief. How have you been impacted by watching all of that and consuming all of that too?
For me, watching the women grow and see them at the beginning and then see them at the end, that is what gives me my drive. That's my purpose. Because even though for me I've been going through things, or had been going through things for so many years on and off, I was still that person that all my friends came to. I was still that person that would be giving everybody advice, sometimes not even taking my own advice, if I'm honest. But I was always that person. So I feel like it's my purpose. So me having this group, it actually helped save me as well. And it helped me to grow, and it helped me to understand myself a lot more. So it's definitely something that helped me, most definitely, yeah.
I love that. I really do. I've just got a text that I want to read out to you, Sara, to see what your thoughts are about this, actually. And we'll try and do it as sensitively as possible. Shout outs to Keith in Staffordshire texting to say, I know it's Women's Month, but don't forget men, as probably as many men are abused by their partners as women. I was a police officer for 30 years and I attended thousands of domestics, and I would say there were 50-50 men and women being abused, but men wouldn't admit it. I personally was abused by a woman partner for years, been punched and stabbed. The same happened to my son, and he would call police and he was told to man up by the police. What are your thoughts about this, Sara? Because yes, it is International Women's Month and we do want to continue to highlight these issues, but do you think that men are being forgotten, like Keith said?
I do agree, and it's not the first time it's been said to me, if I'm honest. When I've posted stuff on Facebook before about what I'm doing for women, I've had people say, don't forget about the men, and express to me stuff that they've been through themselves as a man, just like what Keith said. And in all honesty, love eventually, it's in the initial instinct, it started as an organisation that is for women, and that is what we're building now. We're building the brand, but eventually we do want to have a separate section that will also offer the same services for men, because I do understand that the need is most definitely there.
Yeah.
But we're just starting somewhere and we're trying to build ourselves up, but eventually we'll be able to incorporate men as well.
And talking of building yourself up, in a bit we're going to get into what you are doing and what you've got coming up and what you're fundraising for to continue to support more women out there. Bear with me, Sara, we're going to speak right after this. It's Dave with Black. As it is International Women's Month, we've been highlighting amazing women out here in Birmingham and the Black Country who, for some reason or another, might go unhighlighted and uncelebrated for the things that they are doing. And I want to continue to, shine a light on those people. So today I'm joined by Sara, and Sara has built a community of women on Facebook who've been impacted by domestic violence. She's also fundraising to campaign for a new app, which will go from what she's been building so far on social media to doing that on the app so everyone can have access. Sara, again, thank you for joining me this evening. Thank you as well for really answering Keith's question before. Keith has always also texted back in to say thank you for reading my text out, and thank you to your guest for her response. So
no problem.
There you go, Keith. Thank you. I do also, as we mentioned about gender, I just want to read out that according to the crime survey for England and Wales, ending March 2019, an estimated 7.5% of women, that's around 1.6 million, and 3.8% of men, that's around 786,000, experienced domestic abuse. And then in the last year as well, women aged 20 to 24 years old were more likely to be victims of any domestic abuse than women aged 25 years and over. So I want to make sure we get the stats out, as it's an important conversation, very sensitive.
Yeah.
Sara, with all of this knowledge and these statistics, I want to go back to the lived experiences. You are now campaigning to get an app together where women can come together and vent about their experiences with abuse. Why is this important, and how are you going about it?
Well, we're currently crowdfunding with Aviva at the moment, but we've literally got 6 days left on the crowdfunder at the moment. So, you know, it would be great if there's a way to get the link out there so people can donate if they'd like to. And the app is needed because of what I spoke about earlier, in the sense of having that safe space and just being able to speak about how you feel and not having to bottle everything up is so important.
Yeah.
And also being able to connect with other women, or if it may be men, other people that have been through similar situations to you is also important, because I feel like you can feel so isolated and think that the world's against you, and it's not. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are so many other people, unfortunately, going through similar situations, or have been through similar situations, and they've gone through it and they've grown, and they're now in a much better place, and then they can also be able to help advise those other people on how they can get out, grow, you know,
that kind
become
of leads
the
in
version of themselves.
And that leads into my question, really. How is this going to work? How will people be able to truly benefit then from this app that you're trying to fundraise for, to put together?
Well, at the moment, the app is very much in the beginning stages, in the sense of thoughts. We have got quotes from 3 different app creators in the sense of the basis of what we want. So it will just be like private chat rooms. So there'll be like group chat rooms, and then there'll also be a way that you can create your own private chat room if you want. You know, you could have built a friendship with a lady on there, and you may just want to discuss something with her on a one-to-one, and that will also be an option. Positive affirmations that will be on there daily, links to positive videos. And what we also really want to be able to add is links to services, counselling, you know, housing if they need to, you know, women's aid, all sorts of different services that are available within their area. So there's still a lot of work to do, and we're going to be meeting up with the innovation team regarding that soon. But obviously we need funding in order to be able to get the ball rolling. Yeah,
and this is a huge target. It's £11,990. Again, you've only got 6 days left, but people can find out about it. You know, we can just do a quick Google search here and just put "listen, uplift, vent" with Aviva, and that's how it can pop up for anyone. You can also search by just going on crowdfunder and searching there. Sara, we're running out of time, but I just want to ask you sort of a question before I ask, you know, how could people find out more about you and so on. What's your big dream with all of this? Because this is really inspirational.
My big dream, my dream is massive in the long run. Like, the plan is to spread the love in so many ways, because as an organisation, I also work alongside Adela Fletcher and Junaid Mohammed, my 2 other directors, and we do diversity and inclusion programs within primary schools. We do self-love programs for young girls in secondary schools. You know, we do mentoring. We do the 4-week program for the women within the community. Also running the Facebook page, wanting to create the app. Like, there's so much. We want to centre. There's big plans, and we also want to incorporate the men. Most definitely.
Absolutely. That also echoes Gemma's text, who's just come in to say more needs to be done for both men and women. Thank you, Gemma, for texting in. And I think this is just the beginning of you, Sara, going on to do that. How can people find out more about you, Sara, to keep update with all of these things that you're doing?
We've got a website, listenuplift.co.uk, and then we've also and then we've also got our Facebook, Listen Uplift Vent. If you put that into Facebook, you'll find our page, and if you like it, and we also share everything that's happening with regards to any funding that we've got going and any courses, programs running that are free within the community. All the information is on there.
Great. Thank you.
And on Instagram.
And of course, on all the socials. Thank you so much, Sara, for joining me on the show this evening. You're doing amazing work, and I for one, want to see you reach this target. So
thank you so much for having me. I really, truly appreciate your time.
Thank you. We want to keep